If you're a business owner or you want to be one, don't miss today's Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. We're focused on SCORE, and we're visiting with Bob Goroski, the chairman of the Grand Strand chapter. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning to you, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Nice to be here.
Incredible opportunity to highlight SCORE and so much of what you all do on the Strand and in the 6 counties you serve. Real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
I came here in '91 from Connecticut. That's where my business was. Retired to good climate. We had vacationed in Myrtle Beach with the family for many years, and I had researched the whole country really over a few years, and I decided this is where I'm going to do my retirement. So that was in '91, and I know I've chosen the right place. Look at the weather today. Fabulous.
Yes, absolutely. Right 2 days before July 4th, to think how exciting it is with this great weather, and the Strand's an exciting area. Is SCORE an acronym, Bob?
Yeah, it is. It's Service Corps for Retired Executives. Although we're trying to get out of that in recent years, it's Counselors to America's Small Business. And but we're stuck with that acronym, and we're not all retired, of course, and we're not all executives. So it's a little bit off, but that's how it started.
And when did it start?
Started unofficially in 1964, and SBA started it. There were about 2,000 volunteer workers helping businesses in the country already, and they thought that the SBA should sort of support them and sponsor them, and they lobbied and got it going and started getting funding from the SBA of probably maybe 8-10 years later. So they operated on their own, and we've been funded partially ever since then by the SBA. SBA is our main resource partner.
There's still opportunities locally, I guess, to tag team with other groups, to team up for workshops.
Oh yeah, we all the SCORE chapters around the country do the same thing. Typically the Chambers of Commerce we work with. In our case here, we've got the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. We've got the 2 colleges, one university. Coastal Carolina, we've done workshops with and seminars. And now we're doing one with the JCs and various other organizations that want to have, that we talk to about business. All the service clubs, like the Civitan and the Rotary, we speak at and help people with business.
Bob, how many individual chapters are in the U.S.?
There's about, a little less than 400. 389, I think, is the latest count. Of those chapters, several of them have satellite chapters. Like we're trying to start one in Georgetown. In the future, we're going to try to have one in Florence. That'll be satellite chapters up here. And there are, of those chapters, there's probably 11,000 volunteers total. There's also of those 11,000 volunteers, about 12 or 1,300 of them are online as what we call cyber counselors. And I'm one of those, for example, and I counsel not only in my local area, but my specific expertise around the country.
And you do all this as a volunteer, Bob?
Well, I had a business, and I used SCORE back in Connecticut when I had a management problem. And when I retired, I sold the business early and was sort of looking for something to do, and I said, well, I want to go back to that organization. Kept me involved with business and keep the brain working. Sometimes the brain stops working when you're retired. I don't know. You don't know that yet. That does happen.
I'm scared about that idea. It's so amazing to think about SCORE counselors all over the country, and to think of that impact and the ability for you to help somebody in Alaska just as well as help somebody in Surfside Beach.
Yeah, it's amazing also that we get, our charter says we can only help and counsel U.S. citizens or U.S. companies. We get a lot of people from Canada and Mexico and even the Caribbean because we're online that want help, and we have to politely say we can't. But this is pretty common. South America particularly, Argentina, Chile, people call us, write us, send us email that they want help.
Wow.
But it's strictly for the U.S. The whole purpose of SBA sponsoring us is that if we can get businesses to thrive and expand and hire employees, they're going to start paying taxes. Many years back, in fact, I saw a study that for every dollar that's spent on SCORE counseling by the SBA taxpayers, they got back about $7.80 in tax because of the amount of return of businesses growing. Of course, that kind of study is suspect. How do you really know? But it is cost effective, I think, because we do help a lot of people.
Absolutely. Well, they should sevenfold your funding then. SBA ought to chip right in.
Yeah.
What are the criteria for you look for in recruiting volunteers, Bob?
Well, we're recruiting right now, and we have a lot of turnover because a lot of us are retired, and they move away, or some of us have gotten jobs. Some of us just left the area. The requirement is a lot tougher, a lot more stringent than a typical service club. There are a lot of hours relatively involved. Now, as chairman, of course, I put in more hours than the average person, but each of us puts in one session in the office a month. That's a 3-hour session because we are open 9 to 12. Some of us put in 2 or 3 a month. We have meetings once a month. We do have workshops maybe 5, 6 times a year. And we have our counseling sessions. Counseling is 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, and that's on average about 2 or 3 per month. The typical counselor for our chapter. And I add all that up, plus what us committee chairmen do, organizing and putting. I do training. I develop PowerPoint shows and stuff like this. So there's, we're talking 10, 15 hours a week. That's a lot of service time for a retirement group. So it's a little more stringent. And of course, we want in a volunteer someone with true business experience. If you're a middle manager of a large, a giant corporation, it may be not the right place for you, although we do have a training program. The best thing is an actual business owner or a person that has profit and loss responsibility and that kind of authority in a larger company.
Some of that practical advice probably scares a lot of the would-be business owners.
Well, keep in mind, we don't give out specific advice. When we talk to business people, we show them the things that they are not considering, all the different avenues or different methods, approaches, or resources that they may not have considered in trying to solve their problem. We show them that if they take this road, these are the things that could happen. And we could, by our experience, we can do that. And they make all their decisions. We don't even recommend that they do such and such this way or the way that we did it. That sort of thing is not done. It's always just educating and showing them some things that they may not have thought of. And usually that is an enlightenment to a typical business owner and says, you're right, never considered that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And all this is confidential, Bob.
100% confidential. Our reports that we write are strictly just simple data like what business sector, whether it's service, manufacturing, what have you, whether it's a male or female owner, whether they have, how many employees they have, stuff, just numbers like that. That's the only thing that's reported. All the personal notes that we take are destroyed after 3 years. We don't keep any records of any names, numbers, or anything. And nothing, no names or numbers or specifics goes anywhere outside our office. We also do not counsel at the same time similar companies. So if I'm doing a dress shop in Surfside, I'm not going to talk to a dress shop owner in North Myrtle Beach. We'll put that to a different counselor, so we don't have any kind of conflict that way.
That is wonderful. That's a great commitment to really be able to monitor yourself to remain entirely neutral and objective.
It was hard at first. I've done this since '88, by the way, and it was hard at first. I was typically giving advice, and I had to, learn not to do that. And now it's natural. We do have a lot of training materials that teach that, and that's what I train my counselors.
You stay in touch with people whom you've helped?
On occasion, I've been in touch with the same person for 3 years. I've got probably 3 or 4 people right now that we continually send emails to and talk on the phone. I don't even count those as real counseling anymore. They were sort of like just keeping in touch. But a typical successful counseling session usually lasts 4 or 5 times. So we'll see somebody, the initial one, we'll show them the kind of homework they have to do, come back and forth, and it's very common to go several weeks, several months before someone really gets on their way.
Now, the Grand Strand Chapter 381's office is located in Myrtle Beach.
It's right behind the town hall. It's 605 10th Avenue North, and there is still a 10th Avenue North. A lot of people know it now as Joe White, but there is a little section there. It's between Broadway and Oak Street. We're open 9 to 12, and of course we're always open by appointment.
Right, and this chapter, though, serves, I think you earlier said, the 6 counties.
Yeah, we've got Horry, Georgetown, Williamsburg, Marion, Florence, and Dillon. Oh. But keep in mind, most of these other counties a lot of them are rural. There's not a whole lot. We do get clients from all of them, but of course most of it is right here, centered in Grand Strand and in Georgetown. We do get people up in Brunswick County, North Carolina. We don't officially serve them, but they have no one else nearby, so we take care of that. And sometimes outside of our area, when they can't get help elsewhere, we take them on too.
Bob's inspired by energetic risk takers and challenged by the thrill that oftentimes their simple questions or very difficult questions can be provided simple answers from that basic business experience. Bob, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Well, it was my pleasure.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Dick Collett coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on SCORE's Grand Strand chapter, and we're visiting with Dick Collett, a counselor and its marketing director. Good morning, Dick. Thanks so much for being with us this
morning. Thank you, Greg.
Incredible opportunity, obviously following Bob Goroski, who was able to highlight some of the aspects of SCORE's national chapters and the 400 chapters around the country and the mission as it was set up. How about SCORE's local chapter? Can we talk about that?
Certainly.
Great. Well, actually, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
I grew up in Greenville, moved there when I was 6 years old. My work took me all over the United States, and when I decided when I wanted to hang it up, I looked around and said, why not go home? Love this coast. Came here to Pawleys, Litchfield when I was a little guy, and I still remember catching flounder and whiting in the surf. So this is where we wound up 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And the real prompting was just to relax, slow down a little bit?
Well, just start a variety of new careers and get out from riding airplanes frequently, which I was doing.
So you surely haven't relaxed. You're out to think about the aspects even of SCORE, aside from so many other things you're doing.
Yes, well, that's what keeps us young.
Yes, very definitely. My father has highlighted that many times. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about your business background?
I went to work for a steel company at Cape Canaveral in 1958 when the space program, both for the Department of Defense and NASA, were just starting. And was there several years helping with launches of Titan and Atlas missiles and the equipment. Moved to Los Angeles. Was there with an architectural engineering firm that did an awful lot of work for the Department of Defense. Came back with them, worked on Titan space launch program and development of all its facilities for the Air Force. Moved back to California and finally was able to get a position on the Apollo program with North American Rockwell, which was the company at that time. And so I spent 5 years there with Rockwell before I went to work over at Disney World, helping create Disney World.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How exciting.
Well, I wanted to be on the cutting edge of every new thing that was happening in the United States and contribute to the welfare and growth of this country, as I said. And Ford Motor Company wanted me to come to work for them in Dearborn, Michigan in 1971. And since money talks, I headed north out of the part of the world I love. And had a wonderful 23 years with them. Moved here in 1993 when I retired.
How exciting, Dick. When did you become aware of SCORE? And what prompted your involvement as a counselor?
I was heavily involved with Habitat for Humanity for several years, and it just so happened one of the men I worked with was SCORE's chairman. And he dragged me to a SCORE meeting to understand what they did. I had no affiliation before, and before I left the meeting, I was filling out an application to become a member because I felt I could contribute to the growth and development of the SCORE chapter. And held most offices in the chapter in the last 7 years that I've been a member.
So it had almost only a couple of years after you arrived, you got active.
That's correct.
How exciting! Well, I'm so excited to think about all the different aspects, and Bob helped highlight many of those earlier. Your role as a member of the Grand Strand chapter now, and as the primary role of counselor, that has a direct interaction on a regular basis with the potential startup businesses.
Oh, very much so. We have probably 80% of the people that ask for our assistance want to start a business. Over 50% are women these days. Very strong desire on the part of women to be their own boss in their own business. And there's a lot of reward, personal reward you get from taking the people that really have the ability to start a business and will follow the guidelines that we help them establish. When we can see them come of age, that their company ideas turn into a company, and that they actually at a time become profitable, you really feel good.
Dick, and who's eligible to receive help from SCORE?
Practically anyone who wants to start a business or has a business that wants to grow that business or has a business that needs some help to maintain its profitability or get into a state of being profitable. Now, basically, the SBA, who we're closely associated with, defines a small business as 500 or less employees. The majority of the businesses we work with have anywhere from 1 to 10 employees. So we're looking at small businesses, but that's the engine of growth in the United States. These are where the jobs are being created, not by large corporations. They're laying the people off that decide to start their businesses.
Golly, to have that kind of impact, to know that you're really making that kind of a difference in the community must be very, very, this must be a wonderful feeling.
It's rewarding.
Very rewarding.
There's no question about it. Not everybody is suited. And one of the benefits we provide is, after counseling, meeting with people, is to let them make the decision that they better keep their day job and not venture away from it. And we encourage anybody that's trying to start a business that does have a current employment to do all the homework for the new business they want to start after. Don't leave the job that they have. To start your own business takes anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week. And once you're in it, you can be running 80 hours to be successful. So consequently, they're going to not have a whole lot of sleep. But that's how you become successful.
How do people primarily learn about SCORE?
Well, there's a variety of ways. We, of course, like to use TV stations like your own, TV, to get the message out. And we have worked with the third station we've worked with. We try to put ads as low cost as possible, since we run on a shoestring, into a variety of daily and weekly newspapers, get stories out there. We have we're the members of Chambers of Commerce here, and we send all new members a reminder to them that says, make SCORE your first source of business advice, so that they know we're there to help them. We have other documents, such as this one, make SCORE your best business decision, and that we put in banks all over the area, and we work with the managers of commercial loans, so that they can pass this information on to their clients that they can see needs help. So our marketing is not just to people that want to start business. Our marketing is to people that want to get involved in a very rewarding business, which is SCORE.
Absolutely. Well, it's so exciting to see there are lots of large businesses, for instance, retailers, that will encourage potential suppliers to go to SCORE before they become active with, I think recently in visiting a Walmart site for their local vendor suppliers, there's opportunities. They really encourage folks to go out and look at the SBA, the Small Business Administration, particularly to look at SCORE. It's exciting to see for interaction with large retailers. They really like to know that folks have gone through the hoops of making sure their business plan's in order.
Yes. In fact, the latest way to get to us is through the national SCORE site on your computer. And if you have trouble finding out that we're here, you do it through mbscore.org. So you go through your computer to not only identify who we are, but you can download a application to get counseling services from us right on the computer. We provide this particular form at all the banks and other locations, as well as at our office on 10th Avenue.
Can you give the viewers real quick an overview of some of the businesses for which people have contacted your office for help?
I think we have basically seen everything. We have people that want to get into some aspect of construction, want to start a framing company. We have people that currently have a plumbing company and they want to grow that plumbing company. We have people interested in starting a small restaurant. That's a very tough nut to crack in Myrtle Beach. The mortality rate is extremely high. So we try to talk to them very earnestly about going into that business. So the majority of the people that come to us are looking to start some sort of a service organization. Cutting grass, being a lawn service company, for one. And there's a lot of opportunity in this area for service companies to work with the residents, since we have such a high rate of retirement people that need these services.
Dick, we've got so many more questions I want to ask you, and we've already gone 12 or 13 minutes. I was trying to think about some of the upcoming events. Can you give the viewers real quick a sense of an example, some of the topics that are covered in some of the workshops?
We're right now working with two organizations as far as future workshops. One is the JCs in Myrtle Beach, and we will be putting on 1-hour seminars of different topics. Budgeting is one of them. Budgeting your business. We were going to also put on a series with the Chamber of Commerce of Conway. And all these will start in September or the beginning of next year, and information as to what time, where they're going to be. Hopefully we will be able to put it on television and newspaper, public service.
And Dick, these seminars, workshops are free. These are available, open to the public?
The majority are at no cost, but it depends who we're partnering with. Because the Small Business Development Center is required, when we partner with them, to get a small payment for that. Nancy Niles does that, and she'd love to do it free, but she can't.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Lastly, Dick, what do you enjoy the most about your work with SCORE?
What I like most is seeing somebody work hard and become successful. If they fall by the wayside, so be it. There's another company that hasn't been generated. But if they can keep in there, hang in there, and do their homework as we help them do, and start it up and grow, we love to see that.
Absolutely. Seeing people work hard and become successful is exactly what Dick Collett loves to see happen. Dick, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Great. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Wonderful being able to spread the SCORE message.
We're happy you've been doing that. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Bob Goroski and Dick Collett for making today's Carolina People a great success.